Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. I'm financial coach Jess, and in today's video I want to go over some really important lessons that I have learned from the Chris Hogan, Dave Ramsey situation and the current federal lawsuit against Ramsey Solutions. I wasn't going to do a video on this at all when it first came out in March, but since then there's been some new developments that have really opened my eyes, and like I said, just some lessons that I've been observing that I really want to pass on to you guys. Before we get caught up on what's going on at Ramsey Solutions, I do quickly want to say that this is not a story of the hero versus the villain. This is not a story of the good guys versus the bad guys. None of that. It's just a lot of sinful people that are hurting and are hurting each other. As a result, I want the comment section on this video to stay extremely respectful. This is my channel after all, and I will not hesitate to delete comments or block anyone that is being hateful toward anybody that's involved. The point of this video is to learn. Period. I talk all the time on my channel about the people at Ramsey Solutions and how they've changed the lives of millions of people. We are not bashing them here, but at the same time, I have lived the majority of my life learning from the mistakes of other people, and I believe that we can do that here as well. I'll give a quick summary of the situation at Ramsey Solutions, and then we'll take a deep dive into what we can learn from it. So during the summer of 2020, Caitlin O'Connor had been an administrative assistant for Ramsey Solutions for 4 years. She approached HR to let them know that she was pregnant and she wanted some information on maternity leave. Almost immediately, she was terminated for having premarital relations. Her health insurance, her income, everything was gone, and a baby is on the way, and Ramsey Solutions defends their decision by saying that every employee of theirs signs a code of conduct when they become an employee, and so they have the grounds for terminating her. Caitlin fires back that this is discrimination because they literally fired a pregnant woman. This had happened several other times within the Ramsey Solutions organization. They had fired other employees for having premarital relations. But leading up to this fairly recent event, Chris Hogan had had some relations outside of his marriage, and Ramsey Solutions knew. Ramsey Solutions knew about the affairs, and they were helping Chris Hogan and his wife save their marriage and his career. And there's some sketchy details here, like Chris and his wife had to sign a non-disclosure agreement that they wouldn't tell anyone that they were working with Ramsey Solutions to save their marriage, and they also had to sign over all of their marriage counseling notes between them and their counselor to Ramsey Solutions, and you can read more in Melissa Hogan's statements. But the big question is, are you firing employees for misconduct or not? In March of 2021, Chris Hogan was fired 2 days after Ramsey Solutions received the federal lawsuit stating that they were practicing discrimination because they were firing certain employees but not other more prominent personalities, even though both had broken their contract. From what I've gathered, and I could be wrong about this, Ramsey Solutions did offer Caitlin a settlement and she denied it, but I could only find one news source that stated this information. And this is devastating, and I don't want to make light of that at all. Like I mentioned in the beginning, this is not a good guys versus the bad guys story. It really is just a lot of sinful people. But there are still things that we can learn from this situation. So let's dive into those things that we can learn professionally and what my eyes have been open to since March. And number one is read carefully all of your contracts. It's very easy to check the box that says, I agree and have read the terms and conditions. Like, I know for a fact you don't read the terms and conditions, but it's very easy to get into this habit, this dangerous habit of signing on the dotted line and not really reading and understanding exactly what we are committing to. After you read through your contracts, especially as a business owner, have your lawyer read through your contracts. Because here's what's happened now. I've seen people comment on other YouTube videos and say, guys, it's okay. Chris Hogan didn't die. Stop overreacting. And no, he didn't. But all, and I mean all, of his content did. When he signed on the dotted line to become a Ramsey personality, he signed away everything. His YouTube channel had over 250,000 subscribers. All of his content is gone. They completely wiped it and rebranded it the Ramsey Everyday Millionaires channel. His Instagram account, also hundreds of thousands of followers, completely gone. You can't even find it on Instagram anymore. When I saw that they had erased years and years worth of his content that people loved, my jaw dropped. I can't even imagine putting so much work and so much effort into years and years worth of content, and then it's just in an instant gone. On top of everything else that's going on in his personal life, professionally, this just made me feel so sick for him. Like I actually felt sick when I saw all of his content completely gone. And I'm sure after the book inventory runs out, Ramsey Solutions is going to stop selling his books as well. And that just goes to show like all of his streams of income, his royalties, his passive income, all of it, everything that he's built is completely erased. And that's the thing. When you work in a workplace like this, they force you to sign this code of conduct. And if you break that contract and they find out, now Chris has lost his family, his reputation, his credibility, but he's also lost his streams of income, his platform, his workplace, his friends. So when people were in the comments saying, relax, Chris Hogan hasn't died or anything, stop overreacting, I'm just sitting there like, yeah, you're right, but Chris Hogan is starting from the bottom in ways I don't even fully understand. I'm not sure that I can grasp. My advice for you in this is to read and fully understand everything that's in your contracts. An example of this is even my husband. He has signed a contract with his employer that if Ethan invents anything, if he invents any sort of process or machinery, Nike actually owns the patent to his invention. Nike actually owns it. And that's okay. We understand that, and we know this because he read and fully understood the contract that he signed. And moving on to number 2 is be careful who you do business with. And I would 100% not be surprised if Ramsey personalities started to distance themselves from Ramsey Solutions. I've started talking more and more on my channel as of late about how behavior modification really damages our money mindset. But here's the truth. Behavior modification with no heart change actually damages us so much more than just our money mindset. Imagine working in this type of environment. You've broken the code of conduct contract and you're afraid every single day that someone's going to find out. Every phone call, email, conversation, I literally can't even imagine. That kind of fear, guilt, and shame has no place in a Christian environment. Now, I am on the outside. I can't give a firsthand account of what it's like to work there, but I can and I have given a firsthand account of what it was like to be a Ramsey preferred coach. And you can check out that video here, but the bottom line is it was not healthy. I saw and I recognized the warning signs and I got out. And I'm very careful with who I partner with now, whether it's hiring contractors or doing deals with other brands. And I'm not looking for perfect contractors or perfect businesses, but I do want to work with someone whose core values align with my own. And it's so sad to me, honestly, that Dave Ramsey claims Christ, and yet from what I've seen and experienced, I would not do business with Ramsey Solutions if given the opportunity. And I know that's bold, and I know I could be passing up a huge business opportunity sometime down the road in the future, but grace, forgiveness, and transparency just matter so much more to me. My advice for you with this one is to vet your connections. And this means your referral partners, your contractors, eventually brands that want to work with you. I'm actually in the middle of vetting another brand that wants to do a sponsored video. And I honestly just don't think it's going to work out. Our views on money just don't quite align. And that's okay. I think it's so much better to over vet the businesses and people that you're working with than to get in a relationship where it costs you a a lot of money, a lot of time. It tarnishes your name, and it makes you wish you just never done business with them in the first place. Tip number 3 is to weigh the risk and the rewards. Being a Ramsey personality does have a lot of perks. Book deals, speaking engagements, touring the country, YouTube channels, radio shows, special treatments, features, all the bright lights and glory. And you might be thinking, well, if these Ramsey personalities just followed the code of conduct, they wouldn't have anything to worry about. They could enjoy the reward without any of the risk. And you might be right, but I do think that this entire situation has revealed that there is a risk that accompanies the reward and the perks of being a Ramsey personality, and that is they have all become a target. These personalities could lose everything with one accusation and a little fabricated proof. An angry ex-girlfriend from college has some threats, and now she wants $1 million a year to keep quiet. Or an estranged family member wants to expose whatever, and now they want something in return. Otherwise, you could lose everything. Do you see the enormous amount of risk here? Everything that they have, personally, professionally, all of it tied to just one big action of misconduct, and they could lose it all. It just makes them too easy of a target. To me, that kind of risk is not worth any kind of reward. I seriously think Ramsey personalities are going to be heading out and distancing themselves from Ramsey Solutions, or they're just going to be looking over their shoulders for a long time. My big advice to you in this is to not put all of your eggs in one basket professionally. Don't go in on one platform without backing up your content. Don't have just one stream of income. Don't have one big customer that makes up 60 or 70% of your revenue. And be very wary of exclusive deals or relationships. Lesson number 4 that we can learn from this situation is that when you put people on pedestals, they fall. And I have seen so many comments flood Dave Ramsey's most recent videos of people that are just infuriated. And I think since they are customers, I think there's some justification in this. Like, for example, hey, I've stuck my neck out for you before with family, friends, and coworkers, and you're not running the business the way that we thought you were, or you're not running the business the way that you portrayed. There's a big difference between that and some of the fury that I've seen is just rooted in thoughts like, I can't believe this. Dave Ramsey was the biggest role model that I've ever had in my entire life. I looked up to him every single day, and I prayed to the Money Makeover book sitting on my bookshelf and whatever. I mean, people are acting like the world is now over because Dave Ramsey or Chris Hogan are capable of sin. Like, come on, it's always a lose-lose situation when you put someone on the pedestal and you expect them to be perfect and without fault. It's okay to have people that you look up to, but the moment you idolize them, you're gonna be disappointed. Jesus Christ is the only one who will not disappoint. He is the ultimate role model, the perfect leader, and he's the only one that you can look up to that won't let you down. Lesson number 5 that we can learn is the importance of separation between work and life. And this is something that I harp on a lot here on my YouTube channel and within my Become a Coach program. But it's just non-negotiable. We need the separation of work and life. I repeat, this is not something that you can just sign away when you get a job if the job demands it. That's not healthy. Now, of course, I'm not saying, be one person at work and then be another person when you're at home or even when you go out. But for an employer to say, we own you now, even when you're not here, come on, that's a huge red flag that the business owner has ginormous control issues. You cannot ignore red flags like that. You have got to have separation of work and life. When I was doing a little bit of research for this video, I actually heard someone say, Dave's first business that he built up, it was a home run. It was worth millions and millions of dollars, and then in a flash, it was gone because of some poor decision making. He lost it all and had to file bankruptcy. Are we watching that now take place again? And here's why that is a very haunting question, is because it could be true of any of us. Same with Chris Hogan. People loved him. He changed so many lives. And then bam, A few bad decisions and it's all gone. It's a great reminder for us that we are not immune from something terrible like this happening. We are not exempt. We're all just a few terrible decisions away from losing what we have built. This is why we must stay awake and be vigilant and transparent. You know what could have really helped avoid all of this from happening? Accountability, humility, and honesty. I'll see you guys in the next one.